alumnus of IIT Bombay, and he also was a faculty member of VJTI, the Veer Mata Jizabai Technical Institute in Bombay. He currently works as the senior research scientist at GIC Lab, IIT Bombay, and also has been working with closely with Sitara IIT Bombay for last many years through various government projects. In the recent years, he has started and is leading a project called Community GIS, which involves with an objective of involving communities in creating assets of GIS assets through crowdsourcing, which is a project at IIT Bombay. And we wanted to have Professor Shah today to share about this project, about the idea of Community GIS, because many of us under UBA have been working with many adopted villages that we have. We have interactions with villagers, as well as some NGOs on the field. So we wanted to see if we have some synergy between this project and the adopted villages that we have, and how we can, how as PIs we get more benefited through this possibility. So Professor Shah, over to you. We would love to hear from you about the project, about what the PIs have as a possibilities to do more with it, and then we will take it forward. So we will have time till 4:45 or to 4:50 for your presentation, and then we will take questions for last 10 minutes. Sure. Is that okay, sir?
Yeah, it is okay. Perfectly fine.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, and it is nice to be connected to such a large number of institutes under the UBA. I believe all of you belong to different branches, so you are not particularly one branch, but some of you may be from computers. How many of you have worked with GIS, Geographical Information Systems? Can somebody, can you raise your hands? Anyone who has worked with GIS as a part of their academic or otherwise? I don't see any hands up yet. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. So yeah, I think the geographical information system will be a new subject to many over here. Is that what I can say? Can I, for example, ask Dr. Sridhar Kumar? Is it a new subject? Or is it known to you? My whole thing will depend on that. Is it okay? Anyway, another thing I'll just like to correct Prathamesh. Anyone can ask any question anytime in between. So let there be no restriction on that. So please raise your hand. I'm watching the screen. So if there is anyone who wants to say something, I would welcome that. Okay, so let me just say this. I'm talking about Community GIS. Geographical Information System is, of course, in a way, an old subject. But about last 10-15 years, Google has made Google Maps much more popular. And last 5 to 10 years, you can say, mobiles have got the maps, ability to use GPS. And last couple of years, many people who use Ola and Uber are familiar with map on their mobile. Can I ask a question here? It's a corollary of the first question, but still I'll ask again. How many of you have ever generated a map on your mobile? Created a map, digital map on your mobile? Okay, how many of you have created a geotagged map on your mobile? Geotagged photo. I'm sure there will be many. I expect many people to say yes. Sachit Naraskar saying yes. Who else? Has anyone else created a geotagged photo? So when you open the geotagged photo, do you see a map? can you see the details of the geotag photo and see a map? Well, due to time constraint, I will not do this, but let me just narrate this, that anytime I take a class with some amount of time, I teach everyone to create a digital map within 3 minutes. All that you have to do is create, enable your camera app with location and start GPS and take a photo. When you go to the photo details, you will see a map on your own mobile. So that is, let's say, the creating of a photo on your map. Why I'm describing this? I'm saying all those who have a mobile in their hand now have the capacity to generate map data, not merely consume it. And as educationists, we should be able to use this, what I call cognitive jump, a jump in the world of knowledge, which people can utilize, and we should be able to utilize in our various affairs. So one of the things that I talk about is Community GIS. So may I share the screen? Can I share the screen now? Will I be allowed to share? Prathamesh? Poran Masi? Will you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you enable the screen?
Yes, sir. We have already done that.
No, I can't see it. I still see host disabled participant screen sharing.
So just check it now, because from my end I have done.
Yeah,
Can you just check it right now whether it is
it's
working or okay?
got it.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah. So I do not know how many of you have seen this introduction that was given, in which I have listed all my projects. Can you see the screen? Yeah, can somebody say that one is?
Yes, sir, it is visible,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Very good. Okay. So what I have is, let's say I'll start with a site that we have been creating. I've been working with the Mumbai Municipal Corporation in solid waste management. What I believe is that solid waste is a problem in many, all over the world, in fact. And I believe that it is not easy to solve it without public participation, without behavior change within the public. And if I want to change the behavior of the public, then we should be able to share with the community the information that they trust, information that they can understand. The world of solid waste management and many other problems is very complex. And that very detailed understand information. Here I can show you a map of Mumbai, in which there are every building in the Mumbai, okay, along with the administrative boundaries. And I can also go to the slums, and I can actually see the slum boundaries here. I will not be able to see the households here if I press it, for the simple reason that I have kept it restricted to users with login and password, because that becomes too close to a personal information. So if I log in, then I should be able to see the information even of the slums and then slum households. you can see that I can zoom in and see every individual household. Can you see this? I can also add lanes to the slum. What I'm trying to demonstrate is, one, that there is a need in some systems for a kind of mapping that is not already available either in any government agency or even the private agencies. This is not available on Google Maps. This is much deeper than what Google Maps can give. But this is essential if I want to be able to bring the heart of a building dweller of a process of change in habits and change in behavior. And so one of the ideas that I'm talking about is using of a map which goes close to the community and which can be the information and knowledge which can be owned by the community. Here, I also have, along with this maps, I can go in for what I call dashboard, and for various different types of wastes, I can have a separate map. Here, this is a graph, but if I can click here to go deeper, I can drill down into the map and I can see the values of different types of waste and the extent of the dry waste per capita that is being produced in different regions. And I can go and drill down to further details. Just a minute. Here, you can see, I should be able to see this further drill down. So I can see the drill down. So from aggregate area to smaller area, this is something that is visually available now if I use the Google map. Is it understood? If I use the GIS, and I can, of course, here click on and off whatever layers so that I can make the data less complicated. I can choose to have 1 month, 6 month, year to year, all kind of the idea that we are trying to tell you, as one of the examples that I showed was about the use of maps for making complex data simple, visible, interactive, and available on mobile. So that is the kind of an objective that I have. I wish I should be able to so can someone give me some feedback? Is it understood? Is it not understood? Does it make sense? Yeah.
So any of you can unmute your mic and can answer.
Yeah.
So sir is trying to keep this session in a very interactive mode. So it would be great if you could just respond to his questions. Any of you can unmute your mic. Okay, so I think many people are replying over chat by responding to your question.
Is it?
Yes, sir. So Sachin Pawar, Rajkumar Patil sir,
Yeah.
Mrs. Nilofer
Yeah.
Abirkhan, so they have agreed.
Yeah, I can see some of them have given. I can watch the.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I wish somebody could spoke.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Speak.
So I would like to request
Yeah.
if any of you can, anyone can just unmute your mic and can respond to this query. So that we can.
Yes, sir, understood.
Yeah, the idea is also of interaction is whether this is likely to be useful in your context. Would you like to use it? Because this is a platform available as a free and open source software. Anyone can use it. Your own area. All that you need is the data. So I would like you to show some interest in case that is what is possible. And here I'm saying I'm collaborating. At IIT, we are proposing to collaborate with the BMC and set an example for the rest of the country. UBA should be part of that process. That is the idea. Okay. I'm ready to wait for your thought out question answer. But even after this session, please feel free to connect to me. I'll just show you one. This is another example that we did with Swachh Kolivada. We had a collaboration with the IDFC Bank, and here also we did the mapping. So we had zones in the area. Those who are familiar with Mumbai would know Varli Kolivada. So we had divided into smaller parts. Find the spots. These are the spots where the bins are taken by typically two ladies. They take two bins, and then when they stop at a point, they give a whistle. So the nearby. So this is the kind of a let's say data being collected. There is of course also a dashboard over here. So this data, if it is analyzed, the idea is to be able to compare different areas like this for different types of waste. At the moment, I'm referring to whole area, but I can choose a particular lane and find out its data and see how that particular area has behaved over the period, or for recyclable dry waste, how its behavior is for the compostable wet waste, how is it for the segregated rejected waste, which is what should be zero theoretically. And here I have, I can select the year, I can say 22, I can say January, I can collect the data, whatever, these are the colors, zones, and I can go to any area and find out what is the per capita growth of that particular type of waste. Right now, I'm comparing what? I'm comparing the total waste. Whereas if I wanted to do that only for the compostable waste, it will be something like this. So compostable waste is 0.328 kg per capita here, 0.313 here, and 1.064 over here, and things like that. And I can choose to see how the behavior is changed over the month, date-wise. And I can choose this thing. And I have a legend over here, and I can go below further, and I can see the trend over the months. So the kind of analytics that could be useful, and the idea is, can school kids understand these maps and use them to build a competition among the communities, among the regions, and make sure that their region is greener than the neighbor? Can they become a participant in this kind of a healthy competition to make whole of the area green? So that is one of the ideas. So we call it behavior change communication, and we are talking about using technology for a social purpose, for a social communication, for behavior change, where we are using GIS and maps as an important means of communication with the community, with graphics and maps. Any comments?
Sir,
Yeah.
you told us in the initial time, means at the beginning, that you have something in your camera and you can enable the location GPS and the map will be stored. Is that what you are suggesting? That is the way community can contribute to this GIS interface that is being created?
Mhm.
Is that the way maps have been created?
No, wait a minute. There are several things that are created that way. You are right. For example, we had, I just showed you the map here. Here, in this, if I go to here, spots. So here, if you see, this was created like that. So people created a map, took a photograph, and every point here, I now have a map. This was generated the way I suggested to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? But not everything. All right. So this was also created, these lanes, they were also created like that by taking a mobile and drawing the path. Okay. But not merely by using the camera app. There are other apps, and I'll be talking about that. So there is something called Q Field as an app, which I'll demonstrate to some extent, where we use an Android app, which is seamlessly connected to desktop and the cloud. So the data goes up to the desktop and the cloud on a click of a button. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's not merely a simple camera app. There are other apps that have to be added to be able to do that, and also some other supporting information that has to be added, which people can use on their mobiles to be able to get more useful knowledge, information and contribute to that. Yeah. Any other question? Yeah.
No, sir.
Yeah, fine. Okay. So here I have, we recently in Mumbai University, they have started a 2-credit course for what you call regional studies, right? Case studies. Are you aware of that? Those who are not aware would be better informed that as a part of the NEP, there is an emphasis on project work. And one of the ideas that was, one of the derivatives of that was Mumbai University agreed to include this kind of a project of case studies, regional case studies. And what we have created is a kind of a interface here where people can create the maps based on whatever they choose. Taluka layer, district layer, and here you can choose the type of data that you want. For example, number of households with condition of census house as total, as good, or number of households with condition of census house as livable, and things like that. So residence total, something like that. These numbers can be put here. The range is from 93.9 to 98.8. That is a percentage, and whether we want operate greater than or less than, you can decide that and select the value, let's say 95. Okay, and execute a query. So we should be able to get the data, and so you get two of them, two of the areas where you get this value of less than 95. Supposing I want to say less than 98 and execute a query, you'll get many more. So this way I can see a map and study the characteristics of the map of the census data in different areas of hundreds of different criteria on census. Do you understand what I'm saying? And compare different areas accordingly. So here I am comparing, let's say, district, but I can go to taluka and I can compare the talukas like that. So you can see that every taluka is now marked with a value. Can you see that? And,
Yes, sir.
and if I want to say 97 and execute a query, I should be able to get all these talukas with different values. Do you see this? Is it useful? Can it be put to use? And now I have a simple click, download the data. You get a CSV file of the data that you selected. So this is just a model. I can put all kind of layers and I can query the data in such simple way and make available this data for any further study. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So this is another example of this thing. I have another example of health data.
So one question is there, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, how much we can make surety about these figures, means whether this data is to the mark or like that?
No, that is purely as a community. So if there is a community, then what you need to have is a provision for somebody to correct the data. And you have to have a provision to rate who has given the data and whether
Okay.
that agency or person has given the data in the past, which is found to be accurate, or whether the agency is rated to be low because its data is not found to be accurate. This is how Google developed the whole global maps.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
The rating is one of the tools that is available in Django framework, which is a software that we are using. Okay, and it's possible to rate. So it's also possible to provide for what I'm now going to show you, a form for correction. So whatever data is there, it needs to be in a way vetted and corrected. Okay, so yeah, I'll choose a district, which is Aurangabad, let's say, and I want to see what is the demography here. So I can see the demography of every village. So I can find out what are the things here in this is census data, nothing else. Okay, similarly, what are the urban areas here? Then I can find out what are the schools in this area. Just give me 1 second, somebody is at the door. I have to open the door. Yeah, so we could see that we can correlate some health facilities with this. Now there are, if you go to the health facility, I can talk about, let's say, all the PHCs in this area, primary health centers and things like that, allopathy and this thing. So we have COVID hospitals that may be there in this area, then all the private hospitals, things like that. So the idea is to be able to make this kind of data available. And then also, supposing you have a sister who is somewhere in the middle of the district and wants to know what is the nearest facility that she can use for a particular purpose that she may have. And she said, I can at the most travel 15 kilometers. So these are the area entities that you can get. She said, no, is there something within 5 kilometers? Okay, yes, there is something. Like that, one can get the information about what is possible in a given area, in a region, with distance and proximity made available. This kind of a thing can be applicable in education, as well as in health and things like that. What is more important over here, related to the question that somebody asked, is when I have an information, like say I have for a hospital. Let me, sorry. Here, I have some private hospital here, Antasri multi-speciality hospital. But if the data here that is given is wrong, I have a form attached where somebody can correct it and save it. Okay. Now, whose data is to be considered more accurate, and whether the earlier data is more accurate is something that the community has to decide. So this is a kind of a application which is available to the community to use, not something that has to be assumed or not to believe that the government will be able to give me correct data. Very often, the government data are not accurate, and they're not in a position to keep it accurate. Not only that, there are many vested interests at the lower level. So whatever may be the desire of the government or the top authorities, at the lower level, there are various reasons why things are fudged. So community must take advantage of the fact that they can have ability to generate data, verify data, assert data, and if necessary, counterpose it to what the government or authorities are giving, or sometimes corporates are giving. So that is what this, let's say, community GIS software can be used for. Any comments? Any questions?
Sir, this
What,
is
sir? What,
really
sir? Thank you.
helpful for her.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, this is Major Dr. Ashleisha Taude. Sir, I'm from Mahatma Gandhi Mission Medical College, sir, and Department of Community Medicine. As per National Medical Council, sir, now, right from first year in MBBS, as the students enter medical college, they are supposed to be interacting with the community, sir. So we have started a program where every student adopts a number of families from the community. And they visit on ground the families. And they take real-time data, real-time events, real-time casualties from the families that they are responsible for. Now, this software, sir, is a boon actually for
it is available
right now. And similarly, the data authenticity that we are talking about can be generated, the real-time data. When the medical students actually visit a particular family, and because there aren't many families assigned to one medical student, we can expect a better quality input, sir.
You're right. So I'm, in fact, now going to a point which will be even more attractive to you. Okay.
Right.
Here we are talking about urban nutrition, right? And here let's say, talk about a particular ward in Mumbai, it's K-West boundary, and in that there are several beats. So the whole boundary is divided into, this is the complete boundary, that green, blue thing, and it is divided into number of beats. And what are the Anganwadi centers there? I'm sure a person concerned with community health would know that the Anganwadis are a crucial link to reach the benefits of the government schemes for nutrition. So
yes, sir.
You get all this information over here, and supposing somebody is standing over here and wants to find out what is the nearest Anganwadi, that is possible. That's a minor gimmick. But more than that, supposing I can log in, okay, and see, has login succeeded? perhaps not. Let me just. So here you can see I have different roles. AWW is Anganwadi worker. There is something called supervisor who controls over the whole, let's say, beat. And then there is a CDPO who controls over the whole area. So there we can talk about a doctor managing the data of the individual child. Okay. What number of houses, population, etc., for the Anganwadi, and even location for that matter. Then update household data. So in that household, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever number of households. In that location, map interface, okay, etc. So we are talking about Anganwadi worker being able to. Okay. So this is for marking of the attendance also. And details. We can talk more detail in this. This is something that has been developed under the guidance of Women and Child Development, which is the official agency which controls the integrated ICDS. You understand what I'm saying? So hopefully we can talk about the urban nutrition as an important component of the community health that doctors are supposed to look after, and they will be able to use this site also. Is that clear? Dr. Ashley?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Huh? We can talk about it in more detail.
Right, sir. Yes, sir, definitely. Sir.
Yeah. Another area that I'm talking about is this toilets for women. Most areas, most urban areas where women should be actually part of the economic activity are away from women. Many women can't, particularly the working class women, can't easily use that. They're restricted because there aren't adequate toilets. Many girls refuse to go to schools and otherwise outside because there isn't good facility, because women's toilet requires special facilities. So this is a site where we would like to evaluate what are the kind of let's say available toilets in different areas and whether they are adequate, and what is required to be made, what is required for making it adequate.
Can I disturb you for a minute?
Yeah, please.
Sorry. So thank you for, all the information. So we are at 4:45. So I just thought I will give you a time check first.
Yeah.
And second, towards the end of it now, as we enter the Q&A,
Yeah.
if you can help us understand a bit more, as in how the colleges or their students can play some role in maybe collecting database, or this, or maybe using this in the
how
community.
colleges can use it. That's what we would like to discuss, and I'll actually open up.
Can kind of elaborate a bit more on that in next 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Then we can move into the last section of it. So
yeah. So my idea is that all this software is actually available as free and open source. So if necessary, people can host it on their own servers. To start with, if they want to use IIT as a a place where they would want to post it is possible, and then take it over as and when they like. There are many areas where there is a lot of development possible. It can be therefore a useful platform for computer science students to combine with social science or medical science or economics kind of people, and come up with more integrated view of the reality around them, and work on these projects to come up with a solution for the community. So one of the things that we are talking about, which I would like to share here, is about the learning digital geography for sustainability. So there is a general, let's say, concern for sustainability these days everywhere. And just a minute. So I have a program for learning digital geography for sustainability. And this is something that almost any college should be able to take to the community nearby. Okay, and here I'm talking about training people how to create map, and I'm also talking about a kind of a manual for how to capture the data. So all this can be used by schools. This is a Android app scene, and people can create and develop map. All these details are given over here. What I'm trying to aim at is that colleges can take the aim of either reaching out to the community, which is not highly educated, to schools who can be trained into getting the data, becoming aware of the data, collect data, to colleges who can analyze and therefore help the community in decision making, to the computer science students who can do the necessary software development which captures the reality around them. So there is a whole range of people, multidiscipline, multi-age groups, who can come together using this platform, and let's say you could customize this platform or connect it to different kind of realities, from drinking water to health, to prevention of health, to nutrition, to Poshan Vatikas, Nutri Gardens, and all that. So all the issues that are concerned with life of the community, they can be brought together on a map through a collaborative effort of variety of people. And I think that is what my appeal would be, and I'm open to questions and discussion.
Thank you very much, sir. So now, I mean, it was a very interactive and interesting session. So if any of our participants have any questions or queries or comments, we have 10 more minutes to take it. So please unmute yourself and ask any of your questions or queries that if you may have. Professor Shah is here with us.
Yeah, any questions?
Queries or any comments that anyone has? Has anyone of us been able to check through the links that Shah sir has shared earlier?
So Dr. Ashlesha, how do you think we can proceed further?
Sir, from my end, I can definitely support this particular project because it is mutually beneficial, as well as in fact, it is really helpful overall for the community as well. So,
so my suggestion is, because Paran Masi used to tell me about you earlier before this, so I know about you, and you are in Bombay. right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. So just arrange a, discussion there. I don't mind coming over and
Right, sir.
more detailed discussion as to how to put it to use.
Yes, yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
Combine with your some of your engineering branch people.
Yes, yes, sir.
Have a joint session with them. So if there are any things that you need to, let's say, change or tweak in the software, they'll be of
Sir.
help. It will be a challenge to them.
So in fact, so we are very much involved in antenatal care and deliveries. So the villages that we work in,
Yeah.
they are very remote villages, many of the tribal villages that we work in.
Yeah.
Many a times what happens, sir, is the pregnant woman who is registered with the auxiliary nurse midwife.
Yeah.
She comes for her registration once, and later on she just directly comes for the delivery. In between, we have no means to actually locate her. So this particular software, sir, if we
My
on the day of registration itself, if we locate her household
Yeah.
and mark it, so we will have a data which is real time, sir, and we can actually monitor the progress, the pregnancy.
My suggestion is we will have a better brainstorming when I
Right,
visit
sir.
the place.
Yes, sir.
Or offline, because I want some others also to participate and engage. So I just
Right,
want
sir.
to ensure that we meet next.
So yes, sir, I will organize. So I will be speaking with the coordinator, Puran Missy, madam.
Very good.
Right, sir. Thank
Who
you, sir.
else?
Okay.
Does anybody
We
else?
have another
Yes, sir.
question.
Sachin Pawar, sir, has written a question in chat box. He has two questions, perhaps. One is, can we use this to map potholes on the road? And second, if he's suggesting that if possible, can we arrange training for how to use these softwares for community?
Yes, certainly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
So in this regard, I would like to request Sachin
Yeah.
Pawar, sir, if you could just write a mail to us, because at the end of this meeting, we just wanted to propose this option. So if any
Right.
of you would like to have a training on GIS community portal, even the tools related to it, or would like to know more about GIS community GIS, you just drop a mail and we will conduct a physical training program in our campus itself.
Yeah.
And Sachit, sir, as well, I guess, had some questions.
Yes, sir. I'm Sachit Nala, sir, from Thadomal Shan Engineering College.
Very good.
Sorry that I couldn't interact because I'm out. So I prevented. Sir, actually, I'm very excited looking at these possibilities. As Dr. Ashlesha also said, there are many, many things. Actually, we didn't know that this much is possible.
Yeah.
I had been using that Google Map. I'm a guide on Google Map.
Okay.
Level 6. So I had been
Okay,
doing similar things, but I didn't know this extent using the software. We can actually contribute and assess the data and see the change. We can
Yeah.
definitely, sir, I will, as being in engineering college, I'll try to involve student teams also.
So
in
I
this.
in fact have been interacting with your RD National College, with your neighbor.
Okay, great.
And yeah, on sustainability issues and solid waste management.
Right. So you are involved with that
Yes.
waste testing. Yes, we got that project of NSS. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, great opportunity to create a multidisciplinary project on these lines, and I would certainly want you to write to Purnamasi so that we can take this forward.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
Yes.
Yeah. Who else?
Sir, you told that about QFeed as a software on which these things had been built up. Could you show that software or app specifically?
You can just search on your own mobile QFeed.
Okay, so that is the software, right?
Yes.
Which is directly contributing to this Community GIS project.
Yes, it can. Not by itself completely, but yes, because the whole software that is there on the web is based on Python Django. Python is a language and Django is a framework within that. So we use Python Django, and we also use GeoNode. So all those details are available for anyone from the computer science. I didn't want everybody to be, flabbergasted by too much of computer science. Understood?
Okay.
Yeah. But QField is an app that can be used on the mobile, and I have given the links. I can give you the links to the manuals. They are all available free, open, and anybody can use them.
Yes, so that would be very helpful.
Yeah. And we can conduct a training for that. And in fact, we are aiming at, as a part of IIT's project, along with BMC, we are going to train school students, or rather junior college students, to start with, how to capture this data for Mumbai. But we are open to going anywhere else.
Yes, sir. Sir, what is the mail ID we have to drop an email to for training?
The mail ID, Puran Masi will just share a mail ID in the chat box in a while, maybe. But you can share. So we just perhaps wanted to know who all, any one of us, like 2-3 of our participants just mentioned about their interest to hold a training session of sorts or a workshop with your colleges, maybe at IIT or with your faculty. So we can decide how we can do that. But any of the participants right now, or those who are not present right now, but are part of the UBA and of them in your districts as well, whoever are interested, please let us know. Then we will see how we can do it. Among those, all of us who are present, like Sachin Pawar sir mentioned, Ashlesha madam also mentioned about an interest to do the training of sorts. Who else would be interested in doing such a training? If you can just unmute or just drop in a message in the chat box about this, we will just take a note of it and we'll get in touch with you after this seminar is over. Anyone of us who is interested, just drop
how
a
many
message.
of you are from social science, but even those people who are from geography or social science, there's a link here, Map Story platform. People can write stories of various social processes, whether it is waste or whether it is a migrant or whether it is some economic phenomena. There's a Map Story platform. A complete tutorial has been given and a site has also been made available, and people can write stories there. No computing, no coding.
Any other questions or comments if anyone of us have?
I hope people will look into all these links and let us know what they feel about them. So, Prathamesh, can you also share my contact so that they can respond to that?
Yeah, so your mail ID is already marked in the mail communication that was shared with everyone.
Very good.
So that is already there.
Very
and
good.
This document as well was shared. So we will maybe share it again with everyone who were joined and the other participants. And some of us, the participants have already indicated right now that they would be interested in the chat box. So we'll get in touch with them as well and see what next we can do together. So yes, and the UBA ka mail ID as well has been mentioned in the chat box. If you have not taken note of it for the participants, it is ubaworkshop@gmail.com, which is a usual mail ID that you all communicate with us for any queries related to UBA. So do write in on that mail ID itself, suggesting that you might be interested in hosting such a thing. We will get in touch. Dr. Ashlesha, you have something else to add? I see you are unmuted. Okay, okay, so if we don't have anything else to add or to ask any questions, I guess we can go to our conclusion and Puranmasi, are you around?
Yeah, we can stop the sharing.
Yes, sir, we can. So thank you very much, sir, for taking time out and sharing with us all these
Pleasure.
very informative and useful resources, which sure will help all the PIs to in taking their work forward and using GIS as a tool in making things easier as well. And thank you all the professors and the participating members for this seminar. It was lovely to have you all. Without you, it definitely wouldn't have been possible. So we look forward to see how we can do things together, how we can see GIS as a tool can be of use to all of you as well in making your work, which is related to UBA as well possible, and beyond UBA as well, if you can use this as a platform and how we can make more contribution towards it. Thank you very much. Have a good time and lovely weekend going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.